Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Hanyu Chinese Podcast. I'm Santi, and today we are very excited to dive back into Pinyin. We covered a lot of basic pronunciations last time: the initials, the finals, the Pinyin, the tones, but there is more things to master, especially the finals and some nuances that can be tricky for beginners and for English speakers, some easily confused words. And today we are joined again, and for many times, with Melanie. How are you, Melanie?
Hello everyone, 大家好. I'm thrilled to be here again, and today we'll wrap up the pinyin sounds and take you through a fascinating look into the dialects of China. It's a part of the language that offers a whole new level of culture insight.
So, do you speak any dialect, Melanie? Because you're Chinese, and we're saying that in China there's lots of dialects, but do you speak any?
If you want, I can speak 东北话, which doesn't considered
No,
as
it's not.
dialect.
But Dongbei is a very good Mandarin, very, very good Mandarin. But no, we will. This is very interesting because we will see when we talk about dialects, are there really dialects? Like I come from Spain, we have different languages in Spain, and we don't understand each other. And when we say, "Oh, Catalan is a dialect," or this language is a dialect, people get very offended. In China, we will see if that happens or not. What do we mean when we talk about dialects? But first of all, Melanie, we will talk about Pinyin. We go back into Pinyin and specifically the finals. We will do a little bit of review of what we saw last time, and we covered these vowels. How do we make these vowel sounds, Melanie? Can you pronounce for us?
Yes, of course. So, a, e, 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 o, wu, and yu.
I'm so happy to have you here, Melanie, because even if I've been learning Chinese for 25 years, your pronunciation is just perfect. Very good. So it's very similar to other languages, not to English because English is very complicated, the vowel sounds. But yeah, it's the the it's a little bit like with disgust, e, o, u, and then we have this e sound, this e sound that we will see that sometimes it's written with the two dots on top, but sometimes it isn't written with the two dots on the top of the U. And still, even if it's not written with the two dots, it is pronounced like if it had two dots. So we will see when to pronounce U and when to pronounce it like E. But first of all, let's start with the E sound. E sound. Sometimes in Chinese, E is pronounced like E, but sometimes, even if it's written with E, this E is pronounced silently, the silent E. When do we pronounce this silent E, Melanie?
Exact. So this happens with sounds like zhi, chi, shi, as well as with zi, ci, and si. With practice, these sounds will become more natural. And also don't forget zhi.
The R sound. So this is the ZH, CH, SH, and the ZCS. For those who are listening to us, the I, even if it's written there, it's like it doesn't exist. It's silent. So it's written, but it's not pronounced. It's like there is no vowel in the sound. Ch, ch, sh. And it's not an sound. So it's ch, ch, sh, z, z,
So
s,
good.
difficult, but there is no vocalic sound in those pinyin. But most of the time, the E is pronounced E. For example, in P, P, me, and also T, T, P, Li, and also Chi, Chi, Xi. Can you pronounce these three for me? Uh, how do you say
Your
these ones?
pronunciation is perfect.
Thank you.
Ji,
Very good.
ji, qi, qi, and xi, xi.
Ah, so this is one key difference between the ZH, CH, and then J and Q. They're all this kind of sound, but as you can see, a thing that can help us is to know that in ZH and CH and SH, the E is not pronounced, it's silent, but in J, Q, and X, it is pronounced. So that is a key difference between those sounds and these sounds. Very good, Melanie. Now we also have a very common confusion with English speakers. What it is?
Yeah, so for example, o in 口 and 我 in 国 and ao in 好.
Yes, these I don't know if you have found this, Melanie, but lots of English speakers when they learn Chinese, they get very confused between o and wo, and I think I have the feeling that the difficulty is because when you learn Chinese and you try to replicate it in which is the similar word in English that we use to pronounce this, it is a bit confusing because the vowels in English work in a totally different way. I think in a more complicated way. And Chinese is quite straightforward. It's first the O sound, and then the U sound. So O, ko. And same with U, and then O, wo. Yes. My wife is learning Chinese, and she also struggles with this. It's very difficult to make her stop finding this
It's very
relationship
challenging.
between English and Chinese. Uh, Very good. What else? What else? Now, we talked about the E sound, and now we'll talk about the U sound. So sometimes, so what happens with U, Melanie? Tell us.
Yeah, so when wu is pronounced as a straightforward wu sound, like in bu, bu, pu, pu, mu, mu, and fu, fu, this pronunciation is more consistent in syllables with these initials.
Very good. And same happens with this one, with tu, with the D, with the T as well. Tu, which we leave more breath out. Then nu, and lu. So when there is no double dot in these ones, like the ones that Melanie just pronounced, u is pronounced u. There's nothing strange happening here. However, no, not however. Same happens with this. With ku, with G, ku, with K, ku, and with H, who. And with these three, if there is no double dot on top of it, it's pronounced O. Written
Yeah,
O, pronounced O.
yeah.
However, something happens with the following ones. What happens with these ones, Melanie?
Yeah, so as you see, if a letter U follows after letter G, Q, and X and Y, so they become U sound. So it will be J, J, Ch, Ch, Sh, Sh, and U.
Very good. This is very interesting because when we find these ones written in pinyin, they don't have double dot on the top. However, even if it doesn't have the double dot on top of the U, they are pronounced as in with the French U. So be careful with this. It's ju, chu, shu, yu. Not chu, chu, shu, yu. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's wrong. The U is pronounced E in this one, even if it's not written that way. Very good. This is also a bit confusing in Chinese. What happens with these, with the finals EAN and EANG? How do you pronounce these ones, Melanie?
Yeah, so in uh, I-N-N. So it sounds like yin, yin, like in lian, lian. It has a lighter sound, while I-N-I-A-N-G, yang, yang in xiang, xiang has a fuller, more open tone.
Ah, this is interesting. So even if it's with an E-A-N, Ian, we don't say it Ian. We say like Ian. Ian. Instead of
Yeah,
Ian is Yen.
yeah,
That is interesting.
yen.
However, if we add a G at the end, we pronounce it Ian, but that N changes then. How can you repeat that N sound? Because when it's NG, do you pronounce it like N or how do you make it?
Oh, so yang, ang,
Ah, so it's more like in
yang.
behind.
Yeah,
Very good. We don't may not have that sound in English. The Yeah, very very difficult. Very good.
yeah.
Okay, more things that are interesting in English, in Pinyin, when we pronounce these things, is the E and U, the I U and the U I, the U E. This is not pronounced EU and UI. It's not. How do you pronounce these ones? The finals EU
Mm.
and UI.
So we pronounce I, U, yo, yo, as in liu, liu. And UI, we pronounce it wei, wei, as in dui, dui.
Ah, that's so interesting. So even if it's EU, was it? So IU, we don't say EU, we say yo.
Yo.
Like there was like a O in the middle of it, like yo. And then UE, the U and the I, it's like you said way, like if it's like a little
Perfect.
so way.
Yes, wei.
Very interesting. So it's written you, but it's pronounced yo, and it is written we, but it's pronounced way. Mind blowing. But you need to remember these things, little things that are important to know. Very good. Now let's take a break, and we want to remind our listeners that if you're really enjoying this podcast, you can of course leave a like, and also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Every week we will be learning Chinese from scratch, so you can learn from the very beginning Chinese, and you will improve week by week. And at the same time, we will be discussing cultural interesting facts about China and Chinese language, and all the differences and interesting things that happen there. So don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying every week a new episode. Now we will talk a little bit about something that is very interesting, which is languages. You're now learning Mandarin Chinese, but Mandarin Chinese is not the only Chinese that exists in China. What happens in China, Melanie? Like, what is this thing that we talk about dialects?
Yeah, so China has an estimated 300 different dialects across the country. So each with its own vocabulary, pronunciation, and sometimes even grammar. So this makes the linguistic landscape of China incredibly diverse and complex.
Oh yeah, I had this map I wanted to show if you're watching us on YouTube. This is super interesting, this map, because you said 300. In this map there is no 300, because these are the dialect groups. So they're all in different groups, and the first one of course is the Mandarin one, but in every group there's tons of different dialects, and we will talk later on why do we mean with dialects. But it is interesting because in every area they have their own, not in yours, because as we can see in the map, the dialects are more varied in the southeast of China, more in the north. The more the north that you go, there's the less possibility that you will find strange dialects. But this is important to know if you travel into China and you don't understand people at all. It's not only because your Chinese is not good enough, Maybe it's because they're not speaking Chinese at all. So yeah, don't don't become too frustrated. There is a place specifically, a place, Melanie, that they have like tons of dialects. Which one is it?
So one fascinating example is Guangzhou, a city known for its linguistic variety. In Guangzhou alone, you will find over 20 local dialects in use, while Cantonese is the most well known. You will also hear dialects like Hakka and Teochew, each with its own sound and cultural background.
That's super interesting. Um, and this maybe is because if we look back at the map that we showed before, like there is different kinds of this. Guangzhou is in the very middle of three important subgroups of dialects. So there is different groups of dialects, and within those groups, there's lots of different dialects. So if you go to Guangdong, just get ready for not understanding a thing, but they all speak a little bit of Mandarin in Guangdong. I have lots of Guangdong friends, and they speak Mandarin. Mostly they speak Cantonese, but they also speak um, Putonghua or Mandarin. There is other places. If you go to Shanghai, it happens the same. I lived close to Shanghai for a while, and they speak Shanghainese, but they also speak Mandarin. So it is very interesting because every dialect sounds like the place that you are. Shanghainese sounds like Shanghai, like soft flowing like a song, and it is an elegant dialect. Doesn't sound like the countryside. It sounds good. And there are others. What other languages? What other dialects can we talk about, Melanie?
Uh, Another major dialect is Hokkien, widely spoken in Fujian province and in Taiwan. Hokkien has its own set of phonetic rules and sounds that set it apart from Mandarin and Cantonese. And interestingly, Hokkien has even influenced languages beyond China, like Tagalog in Philippines, especially in food-related vocabulary.
Yes, I have a word for that. I will show it later. So, what we are saying here is that it's important to know the existence of these dialects and to keep them because it actually shows the culture of the place and the patterns of thinking of each region. So if we go to Guangzhou or Shanghai, these dialects are spoken every day in the daily life, at home, in the markets, in social gatherings, and it's the way for people to feel connected to the local heritage.
Yeah, that's right. Even though Mandarin is taught in schools, many communities and families make a point to keep their dialects alive. In some areas, there are programs or initiatives focused on preserving these local dialects so they're not lost with the newer generations.
Very good. Now, I'm going to jump ahead and because I want to talk about what you talked about before, the Hokkien language that has influenced, for example, Tagalog. Tagalog has lots of loan words from Spanish and other languages, but also from Hokkien, which we talked before. And I love this story of this spring rolls that in Tagalog are called lumpia, and I have no idea how to pronounce this lumpia. I think this is spring rolls in Chinese, but written in very traditional way. Rumping. I think
Yeah,
it's ping. The last one is ping, isn't it?
非常好.
I
Yeah,
think so. Yeah,
润饼.
rumping. But yeah, those vegetarian spring rolls that are made in Philippines, the lumpia, they come from Hokkien, the language. Very good. Let's do a quick recap, Melanie. So today we learned about the pinyin basics. We completed the pinyin basics, and we focus on the final sounds and how to pronounce them And for that, we had your fantastic help. Thank you very much, Melanie. And we also explored the cultural richness of this China's dialects. Um, Very good. What we will see next week, Melanie? Sorry.
So if you're ready for more, stay tuned for our next episode where we'll dive into Chinese greetings. Do you know how people actually greet each other in China? Spoiler alert, it's not just 你好.
There's other ways? No way.
Yeah,
We will learn about this. Yes. They normally ask if you have eaten, isn't it? Like, did you eat your breakfast? That's a normal way to
very
say hello
good.
in Chinese. So yeah, you need to eat your breakfast before leaving house. Otherwise, you will, yeah, not look good. Thanks for joining us today, Melanie. And for those who are listening to us, keep practicing, and we see you next time. Bye bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye, 再见.